Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, guten morgen, bonjour, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. The sun is shining. It is blazing blue sky, hot as it possibly can be here in SW16 in Norbury. How are you today? Good morning. If you've just joined us for the first time, thank you so much for coming along. I'm Ken, it's 10, and that's why we're James Alexander Estate Agents, and we broadcast property news and anything else topical really daily from our offices in Southwest London, Norbury, which is between Streatham and Croydon. We sell, let and manage properties throughout London and the Southeast. Few headlines today that I found quite interesting. The first one, by the way, I should say, this is not mortgage advice, but look at this for a rate. Speak to your qualified financial advisor if you'd like mortgage advice, but a couple of things caught my eye in the press today. One was an article in the Financial Times and the Independent. Nationwide has upped stakes in the mortgage rate wars by launching a 5-year fixed rate with an interest rate of 0.99%. I mean, that is crazy, isn't it? 5 years fixed for under 1%. The lender's offer is the first 5-year deal on record ever to charge borrowers an interest rate of less than 1% during the fixed rate period. The mortgage is available to those with a deposit of 40%. So sorry, first time buyers out. But it comes with a fee of £1,499. Amazing deal. So there you go. Second thing, still on mortgages. Interesting to see an article in the Mail. They love a scandal article, don't they, the Mail? But today they're talking about how mortgage applicants are being turned down if they're using buy now, pay later schemes, which are quite common these days, aren't they? Brands like Klarna, which allow you to purchase goods and then pay for them later. What's happening is people are using these, and then lenders' view is that that's risky because buy now, pay later suggests that you might be living beyond your means. So whatever you do, be very careful if you're using buy now, pay later and you think of getting a mortgage. Stop it. Pay when you've got the money, but be really careful about that. An article in the Telegraph today is talking about how high quality new builds can boost the market. And basically the theory is that you get new builds in your area and they're always between 10 and 20% over the base price in the area. And therefore they give the surrounding housing a boost. And we have experienced that. It does happen. But that, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It just depends on the quality of the development, really. The other thing I wanted to talk about was rental. A lot of rental people now are prepared to splash out on homes with pools because of the staycation, people wanting to stay in the UK now and not being able to get overseas. They're paying a 10% premium for homes with pools. And this is according to Savills Richmond Let, a property which was an asking rent of £4,515 a week. Wow. So despite costing well over $200,000 to rent for a year, its biggest selling point was its indoor pool, which attracted 17 viewings from people all over London. Now on to something that we've been doing in our blog for the last couple of weeks, and this is hints, tips and tricks. I'll pop the blog details up on screen for you to get the best price for your home. I want to talk about home styling because I think it's something that is very underrated. We're very lucky to have someone in our office who can advise on this and has a very talented eye for it. But it's very rare I go to someone's home and say, you've got a talent for this. But just recently I've seen a couple where you really do think, yeah, they've got a knack for this. And often people don't even know they've got the knack. They're just naturally arty and have a good eye. But a few tips to make the most of your home, to present it well, to give you the best chance of getting a buyer. You'll find a full list at the blog, which is at jamesalexander.com. Just go blog.jamesalexander.com. You should get there and you'll be able to read more detail on this, but just a few tips to help you along the way. Show every bit of space in the best possible light so that they can see and appreciate the value. For instance, if you currently use a small room for storage, then pack away that clutter. Use your loft, use your outside storage space, anything you can. Give it away to friends. I don't care. Just get it out of that spare room if you can, so that that spare room can be presented as a proper bedroom or study space. People see a room with things in it, they tend to think of it more like a garage space, and I don't want to hear that, so make sure that you clear up wherever you can. I know it's not possible for everyone. Sometimes it's really difficult. I always recount the story of a lady who I told to declutter, and she did, and she stuffed everything in the kitchen cupboards, and then on the next viewing, my client opened one of the kitchen cupboard doors and loads of stuff came crashing out. So be careful with it. But if you've got outside space or somewhere you can store it, or maybe even rent some storage, make the best of space you've got available by presenting it as though it's usable, not like it's a storeroom. Now, when it comes to personal possessions, people, it's lovely for you to see your photos of your children's graduations and the extended family and maybe leaving school. But buyers don't particularly want to see that. There is a problem. If you have something that's hanging on a wall and has been there for some time and you haven't painted since, when you remove the picture, it will be sun bleached. So if you are replacing pictures with other pictures, make sure they're tasteful and make sure that they cover that area where you've got the sun bleaching, because that can be a real problem. But where possible, where you've got photographs, ornaments, that sort of thing, declutter, get rid of most. People want to see more minimalist these days. They don't want to see loads of stuff on surfaces. They want to see a few tasteful, classy bits, not more. So photographs, books, things like that, if they're strategically placed, Home and Garden magazine on a coffee table, coffee cup, that sort of thing, lovely. If it's, last week's newspaper sprawled out all over the floor, no thank you. So, get your basic decor right, get your basic bits and pieces right. With regard to basic decor, we're talking light and neutral. You can make a statement with a feature wall. It's nice to make a statement and try and put objects in the distance with a bright color. And what this does is it emphasizes the depth of field and shows people the size of the room. So for instance, something bright red at the other end of the room will focus someone's eye on that, and then it will appear as a bigger space. So it's worth bearing that in mind. Think about texture with cushions and throws, not expensive, but can really add texture. And you can also add contrast and color with these. You don't want to go mad with all colors of the rainbow, but pick a theme, maybe a green, maybe a sage green, maybe a bright red. Doesn't matter, pick a theme and theme that room. Now, mirrors are always a good use for things like making a room feel larger and brighter, because they reflect the light around and they give the impression of more space. They're well worth using. Now, what you might want to consider is, if you want to give the illusion of extra height, which we often do, then use the mirrors in a portrait fashion, not in a landscape fashion. Lamps and candles, that's one thing that can really make your home feel really welcoming. Think about those dark corners. Think about putting lamps in dark corners. Use candles for both effect and aroma. Nobody wants to smell that stale smell in your house. So make sure you use candles for aroma. We love the smell of coffee, don't we? So, I know it's an old adage. You can even get sprays for it now, baking bread, that sort of thing. But that homely feel really does go down a treat with buyers. So think about that. Plants and fresh flowers are really nice if you can do it. Fresh fruit on the side in kitchens. Always nice to have a feature bowl of fruit, almost like a piece of art, especially for the photographs. Potted herbs are always good too. Most of all, think about how you would like to see it yourself. Think about if you were walking in there as a viewer and you want your socks blown off, you want to walk in there and say, yeah, I could definitely live here. That's what you've got to think about. That's the sort of tips and tricks we're talking about. If you want a full list, go to the blog. There's lots more on there. Apart from that, we have, it's quite a quiet today on valuations. We always expect that in the summer anyway, things to start to quieten down a little. Got some good new instructions coming up though. Lots of good discussions going on with people that are thinking of coming to market, and we're making sure that we get the timing right. Different kinds of property require a different time frame. Depending on the kind of property you're selling, it can be better off to wait or to go now. And that's a conversation we're having with many people right now. So that's it for today. Hope you have a fantastic day. We'll be back same time tomorrow with another Ken at 10. Until then, look after yourself and your families.